Hey, Mark Shepard here, and it's morning crypto time, and today we're going to look at and see what to do with profits, where to put profits so that we can protect our gains and maybe make even more on the rise. And then when the things that we've taken profit from take a dip, we can buy them back. We'll see. Let's figure it out. Let's do it. Start the music. Welcome to the Morning Cryptos. This is episode 122, which is actually day 122 of my 90-day challenge, week 18 of my decision to go deep into the rabbit hole of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies and share the experience with you. And hopefully you can learn, and I can learn, and I can make some money, and crazy stuff. Bitcoin, as you know, is over 10,000, and it kind of all day yesterday here in the US, or on the chart that I look at, the Bitfinex chart, it kind of made a little sideways trading channel. It just kind of went up and back and up and back, and this is a 1 hour chart. And again, these damn trading channels, they're really consolidation channels, act as platforms for it to lift. So that's what it did. And I took profits. I moved about $1,000 worth of Litecoin into Bitcoin back at 82. And then I had this run up, and then I took profits. I took about half of it, more than half of it. What did I have? I had about $1,800 worth of Bitcoin, and I slammed 800 of it from my wallet into EOS. And was that a good move? Let's look at EOS. Yeah, that was a pretty good move. And we'll see. I think EOS has a long way to go up, and I think Bitcoin has a long way to go down should it have a correction. And my whole plan, and I'll just get right to it because I know that's why you're watching this. My whole plan is to basically, when Bitcoin does have a big correction, that's when I will buy back in. And hopefully the alts won't go down at the same rate. I'm hoping the alts will go up and Bitcoin will have a hit and the alts will go, and I'll take profit on the alt. And then boom, slap it into Bitcoin when it comes back down, then write it back up. We'll see. That's the theory. And that's what we're learning. But let's first, before we look at all the other coins, all the other currencies, all the other projects that I am interested in and keeping an eye on, let's look at the mainstream media. I typed in Bitcoin price, and we have down here price of Bitcoin over 10,000 as rally gains pace. ABC News, okay? That, people, right there. That is your biggest indication that serious FOMO is going to be coming into this market. Serious numbers of people are going to be going, oh my God, I gotta get some. My cousin Harvey said Bitcoin was the way to go. Where do I get some? How do I get some? Right? So that's going to happen. But those people are also the last in, and they're also the first to try to get out when it dumps. And we are due for a serious correction, and it may not come for a while, but it's coming. And anybody who's traded these cryptos for any length of time, like me as an old veteran, I've been trading since February, and it's been pretty much a bull market since February. However, there have been a lot of corrections along the way that freaked me out at first until I kind of got used to the rhythm, to the fact that Bitcoin has big swings. So I don't really want to look at ABC News, but I'll force myself, see what they have to say. The price of Bitcoin, the most widely used virtual currency, rose above 10,000 on Wednesday for the first time. Hey, stop twitching. breaking a symbolic threshold in what has been a vertiginous ascent this year. Wow, ABC News used a big word, vertiginous, vertical. Vertiginous. The cost of buying one Bitcoin as measured by the website Coindesk.com was 10,673 by morning trading in Europe and up about 1,000 at the start. Up from about 1,000 at the start of the year. Oh yeah, it was originally 1,000, right? Okay. It's literally up almost 1,000 from where it was yesterday. I was, yeah. Okay, whatever. Gotta get some more coffee here. I'm starting to wake up though, people. Virtual currencies have been the subject of much debate this year, with the CEO of JP Morgan Chase calling Bitcoin a fraud, but other executives saying it should not be dismissed. Do you see the language here? Okay, this is hypnotic language. Jamie Dimon, okay, he's quoted as calling it a fraud, but other executives saying it should not be dismissed. Don't think of a blue tree, right? Your unconscious mind cannot process a negative, so they specifically lowered the impact of that language. They could have said, but other executives say it will rise. Oh, there's a pileated woodpecker outside my window. Holy crap. People, that's a good sign. Holy guacamole. That's fabulous. I'm a bird watcher. Some of us introverts like looking at stuff in nature. Yeah. And we'd rather hang out with birds and animals than people, although I love people. I just need to be alone sometimes. That's all. Okay, so where were we? Bitcoin was created about a decade ago as an alternative to government-issued currencies. It and other virtual currencies were initially used primarily as a method of payment, particularly to buy illegal goods and services online. Do you see how they keep repeating that story? In recent months, they have become a hot investment among speculators. In a move that gave further credibility to Bitcoin, the U.S. exchange operator CME Group said in October that it plans to open a futures market for the currency before the end of the year if it can get approval from regulators. Danielle Bianchi, an assistant professor of finance at the Warwick Business School in England, said that the price increases are due to rising demand as trading becomes more professional and open to the general public. He believes so-called currencies are here to stay, and that awareness among investors is making it more than just a method of payment online, but an investment itself. Okay, it's not a method of payment online at all. We know that, right? They don't seem to get the fact that it sucks as an online payment method. However, if you want to protect a national currency from Bitcoin, make the transaction times really long and make the transactions very expensive so people don't use it as a currency. Very effective and very subtle. The increasing demand pressure from investors and speculators makes the case for an even further increase in Bitcoin prices in the near future. All right, so that's what the mainstream media is saying. They keep bringing out the thing that it used to be used for drugs, and it's not, right? It's not being used for anything. That's the thing you need to remember. It's not being used for anything other than a store of value because it's not usable, right? That's where Bitcoin Cash comes in. They had a hard fork because they disagreed with the people that were really kind of running and controlling Bitcoin. So Bitcoin Cash, people, is something I am going to be watching very carefully because I think it's going to start moving, particularly if this Bitcoin doesn't. But it may move even if this Bitcoin does. Who knows? We don't know. There's so much we don't know. That's what's so great about it. It's like the movie that you go to. In people's minds, they want a movie. They don't really want to know how it ends, but they kind of want it to end happily. They want it to end in some way that satisfies their internal story, their internal model of the world, that the good guy should win in the end, right? And what's really cool is that we don't have a Hollywood scriptwriter writing this. We don't have anybody controlling this. This is a market that's alive and has its own personality. Each one of these currencies, literally, if you look at these charts long enough, and yes, I am compulsive, people. I have been looking at these charts long enough. I look at these charts all day, every day, in the midst of all the other things that I do. And each of these has a different rhythm, and you can almost feel it. And we'll talk about that as we go through. So are you ready? I'm going to try to get you in and out of here in a half hour. And I'm going to give you a pretty big idea of the things I'm watching, the things I just got into, and the things I'm thinking of getting out of. All right? So, and again, I can't give you investment advice. In the US, it's against the law. So stop asking me for advice, okay, people? I do, however, let you know what I am doing. And if you choose to do what I'm doing or to learn from what I'm doing, that's your business, and that's what I really want you to do. I want you to learn to think for yourself, and I want you to learn to make your own decisions about your money, because ultimately nobody can do that for you. And that's the reason I literally changed my hypnosis practice from Hypnosis Albany, where I was working with smokers and weight loss people and athletes and anxiety clients, because they would all come in and expect me to do the work for them. Because I'm a hypnotist. I'm supposed to wave this magic wand, and they're not supposed to have to do anything or participate. And that whole idea, that whole mindset is really, really the national disease of the United States. I can't speak for other countries, but people in the United States want it done for them, right? They want someone else to blame. They're victims. And I don't want that for you, because being a victim sucks. It's much better to be the horse's hooves than the horse's hoof prints, to quote a Bruce Cockburn song. And by me sharing this is the greatest gift I can think of giving you, right? Is to let you in on what I'm thinking, to the point where you can even, I'm not going to hide my mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes, right? And that's the thing, is I want you, instead of just doing what I'm doing, learn from what I'm doing and make your own decisions. Does that make sense? So that, I had to say that. I don't know why I had to say it, but okay, Bitcoin Cash. We are looking at Bitcoin Cash here, and I just added a little bit because we had kind of a sideways trading range here. I added a little in this range. Not a bad time to get some, because it's come down to this line, this major line of support. It's right at it, right? So now we may lose a little more if there's some news out or if something happens. But what I'm seeing here is that it's kind of consolidating. So I'm looking on any dip, I'm going to get a little more Bitcoin Cash. That's just something I'm doing to hedge, just in case Mama Papa Bitcoin takes a dump on us, okay? And I don't have that much of Mama Papa Bitcoin. But Bitcoin Cash, they have 8 megabyte blocks. The transaction times are fast. The owner of the company that makes all the ASIC miners for both Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash requires payment in Bitcoin Cash. And it makes sense, because Bitcoin is not usable as a currency. It takes too long to confirm the transactions. Bitcoin Cash has all the same flaws of Bitcoin as far as scalability. They bought some time, but if you compare it to Dash as a currency, Dash is way better. So I'm not putting all my things into Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin. I'm watching them. And so that's it for today. But we did have a big boost back up, and it's really holding the line. That to me is a sideways trading range. And those I look at very carefully, and it hasn't really developed that much yet. It could also be a bullish flag, or it could take a dump, right? So either way, I'm keeping an eye on it, and I have a little in. I put a little in so that I care. That's really what I do. Now back to Bitcoin. And literally, Bitcoin, 10,890. That's $1,000 from where it was yesterday, basically, right? Where's 890? There's 8,900, and there's 9,000. Okay, so yesterday it was, it's gone 800 bucks. $1,000. I can do that in my head. I'm not good at math in my head, but I see patterns, people, okay? So if you want accurate numbers, go to somebody else. But if you want the big picture, and if you want how to handle your emotions while you're in the middle of this and what not to do, come hang out with me. All right. If you're new to Bitcoin, pay attention. Watch these morning videos. Seriously. I try to have something for newbies in here every day. Bitcoin Gold, keeping an eye on it. I don't own any, although I had a tiny fraction of it given to me on Bittrex because I had a tiny little bit of Bitcoin, but that doesn't really count. Keeping an eye on Bitcoin Gold because it's actually pretty big currency. It has some decent volume. And volume means liquidity. Liquidity is good for trading. And it's just getting more liquid, more betterer. All right. I don't know if this move is stopping its downward slide. It has dropped below its support to another place of support. So we'll just move the line down there. Keeping an eye on Bitcoin Gold. And let's look at Dash. Oh, Dash. Dash. And again, Dash does these beautiful little sideways trading ranges, and then it moves. Very different from the other coins. See if I can... Well, here's as good an example as any. Right? We had, if you kind of connect most of the tops, and again, this is totally approximate, and it's just a frame. You could also say, oh no, it's starting to go down. Well, it's not really going down because the bottoms are pretty solid. Right? The bottoms are solid, and then boom, away it goes. And now there will be some profit taking up here, and then it will hopefully consolidate again. It may come back, right? And this is where you have to decide, am I going to take some profits? Is there something else I can take this higher price Dash into to protect my profits other than your native fiat currency? That's a good question to ask, and we'll be thinking about that as we go. This is Dash on the 1 hour. Let's look at Dash on the 1 day real quick. Boom, boom, boom. And you see it's the sideways trading ranges on the 1 day chart that have more weight than a sideways trading channel on the 1 hour chart. But that is still a pretty significant consolidation channel. And to me, that's why I haven't taken my profits out of Dash, because it was making a nice solid channel. It wasn't dropping. You know what I mean? It was consolidating. That's what I'm looking for. And I think that's a good sign that the market is ready to go, ready to move, ready to do more. And again, Dash is a solid project, and they've just made a bunch of changes, and they're upgrading it all the time, and they have a dedicated team, and yet they've preserved the decentralization. They have these things called master nodes, which, you have to buy 1,000 Dash to be a master node. So that gives people power, but not too much power. You know what I mean? And it gives power to people who are invested. So, I don't know. Someday maybe I'd like to have me a master node of Dash. We'll see. EOS. This is where I put a ton of my profits into EOS because it was consolidating and going up at the same time. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And then there was a sell-off. And I don't know where I got in. I got in somewhere around here. Not the best place to get in, but I was like, I need to put my profits somewhere on something that has room to really move. So EOS, that's an amazingly good project. And right now it's pure speculation because it's still an Ethereum token. But you can still make money at it, so why not, right? It's at $3.22. I started buying it below $1. And I'm liking this trade. And this is the kind of stuff you get when you watch this every day, when you're looking at the markets. And my Exodus wallet is up to 89.34. It broke 8,000 just a couple of days ago. And I sold some Bitcoin, so I now have $2.18 worth of it, and I slammed that into EOS. So I have 677 EOS. I'm also working on something called Civic, which went down before it came back to where I bought it. And basic attention token, which I will talk about more when I have time. But the basic attention token is something to keep an eye out, and we'll take a look at that chart later if we have time. Ethereum, up, 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 up. And again, look at this beautiful sideways trading channel we had on Ethereum. And I was just kind of playing the midline here on this line here just to come on line. Right? But this is your area where it's going to come back if it's going to come back. All of these chunks, you know, when it takes a dump, if it takes a dump. Sorry about the graphic language, people, but I like it. So these are always kind of the zones to go, okay, could I handle it if it comes back to here? Yeah. Could I handle it if it comes back to here? Yeah, I can hold on because it will build support. But, right now it's boosting, baby. 511. Go, 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 Ethereum, go. Go, Ethereum, go. Boom, boom, boom. Let's look at it on a 30-minute chart. Oh, look at that. People, it's better than porn. I mean, seriously, this is so much better than porn. Woo! Go, baby, go. Oh, go, Ethereum, go. Uh-huh. All right, it's a lot of fun. All right, only you would understand, right? My friends, if they saw me doing this, would tell you, this guy is crazy. Let's move on. Let's go back to the one-day chart. And let's go to IOTA, which I don't have any of, and it's kind of pissing me off a little bit, but you know what? You can't have everything. Because I saw it was a good project. I wanted to buy some here, but I couldn't get it anywhere easily, and I didn't want to work too hard to find it. Sorry. I'm lazy, and I got enough coins. And I don't want to have too many, right? You gotta see what you can handle. So just keep an eye on IOTA. If you have it, good for you. Not a time to get in right now. Wait till it does a sideways channel and consolidates. Okay, Litecoin. Here we go. Litecoin hits 100. Litecoin breaks 100, people. That's a record high. That's exciting. What do I got in Litecoin? I have almost 10 of them. So that's sweet. That is very sweet. And I had sold off some of my Litecoin. I took some profits. I didn't take everything in profit, right? I took some profits and I've leveraged into some other stuff. And so let me look at Litecoin on the 1 hour chart. Oh, yeah. See, and even as it goes up, Litecoin is so steady and predictable. You know, it doesn't move the same way as the others do. It has a certain rhythm. And to me, I'd like to see Litecoin consolidate and kind of stay the same price for a while so I can use it to take profits into. But we'll see. It's nice if you have something that you can take profits into and it just steadily goes up. It doesn't have quite the swings that the others have. All right. Let's look at Neo. I bought me some Neo yesterday, and I'm probably not in the money yet, but I don't know where I bought it. You see, the numbers don't mean much to me. I try to buy it at a visual place. And I saw that it was coming down, so I think I bought it maybe as it came down to this line. Where is my line? Somewhere around here is where I bought it. So I might not be in the money, or I might be right at the money, but I think it's about to go, because this to me was a sideways trading range. And again, I could be totally misinterpreting this. That's the other thing, is that we see what we want to see, but if you have enough experience, you can discount the things that you're making up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to see a sideways trading range. So am I seeing a sideways trading range, or, you know, with one dip below to test it and it bounces right back? See this dip? It bounced right back. That to me is good, right? Somebody took profits and it came right back to where it was. That's kind of like a bounce, right? That's a resilience bounce. it's an anomaly. Now, if it keeps going down, then I'm like, I got in too soon. I should have waited. But I'll watch it, and if it consolidates down here, I'll buy some more. Buy low, sell high. And let's look at NEO, since I'm in it now. Let's look at NEO on a better day, on a one-day chart. All right, so it has come down. It has this little whisker down to a previous support zone, right? So that makes me feel like, okay, it went down to the support zone and it bounced back up. So pulling back out and looking at a longer time frame gives you a better idea. And there is a huge amount of support here, which used to be resistance. Look at this, right where it is now. That was its previous resistance. And then we had this peak up here, and the market thing is moving. It's got support here. It's gone up. It's come here back to support. So to me, it feels like it'll either build a sideways trading range or it's going to go. And if it doesn't, if it comes back, we have this area to come back to, and that's, you know what? I could hang in if it drops $10, right? Unlike in Bitcoin where it could drop $3,000 in an hour, and that's normal. Here, okay, the farthest it's probably going to come back, if it really takes a dump, is 15. But it's really unlikely. It's a good project, and it's been called the Chinese Ethereum. Very useful, but we'll see, right? This right now, this is speculation. We are trading, we are investing, and there you go. Enough of NEO. Let's go on to Omise Go. And the US dollar, Omise Go. I think I started buying it down here at 8 or something and watched it come down, and now I'm watching it come back up. So that's good. I don't know if it's exactly an entry point or not. Let's look at the 1 hour chart. Probably not. Although it's right at a pretty significant support spot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on this one. If you want some, get some. But if I would prefer to get it, when it comes back to here. But again, sometimes you just got to get in. Put a little in. It causes you to focus. That's my big theory. All right, let me say go. Let's go back to one day. I want to get through this. Quantum. Quantum went all the way up to 1574, which delighted me, and then it came back to an area of consolidating and supportizing. Like we have a line here, those whiskers. So it should be interesting. Again, it's early in the project of Quantum, and they have a lot going for them, and I think it might be a place to take profits because it's a really solid project, and they have multiple use cases. Their main net is up. They're walking their talk and working their work. So to me, looking at, I was kind of looking, what I wanted to do this morning was see, okay, where would I put profits? Now, I bought Quantum around 10. So I'm in profit, but I don't want to sell. So if I'm going to hold it anyway, I might as well, if I have profits elsewhere, start taking them and putting them into Quantum. Because if anything happens to Bitcoin, and I'm just thinking strategically here, this is not to scare you, but if anything happens to Bitcoin, and there are always rumors, and there's always attacks on Bitcoin, if anything happens to it, I think Quantum would be a fairly stable place to tuck my money. So that's a serious thought. Thinking about that. Monero boosted. This is the secret one. And this could also be a place, if it consolidates and holds its value, this is also a place you could put profits. Not maybe today. But if there's a nice consolidation like this pattern down here, and again, this was something I was watching, and I got in down here. At least I think I did. It's all in Bitcoins over at the exchange, and I can't quite. It's hard for me to understand the prices in Bitcoin. All right, so keep an eye on Monero. It's cranking, and it's nice to be in the money on that, even though I only have one of them. And Ripple. Okay. I've identified Ripple on the one-day chart as in a sideways trading range. And again, Ripple is being used by banks already, and more banks will probably start using it. It's a centralized blockchain. Again, a bank project, and if you have no love for banks, you might not want this. However, I think it's about to take off. I think it's about to lift. So if you don't have any Ripple and you are really just serious about making money, you might want to consider getting in, particularly if we have a little bit of a retracement back to this middle, to like 0.2466791 of all these numbers. Yeah, this is my karma, people, is to really fire up the part of my brain that deals with numbers that I think is kind of lagging. But I'm maximizing my neural connections every day doing this. This is better than Sudoku. It's better than porn. I don't know. It's better for me. It's more interesting to me than any sport. It's more interesting than a video game. It kind of is a video game, really. But it definitely excites certain areas of your brain, pleasure centers. It also excites sometimes the fight or flight stuff, so you got to be careful. And it's a perfect place to practice non-attachment and to practice being able to deal with the reality, to separate what you're thinking, what you think is going to happen from what's actually happening. And I bought XRP Ripple somewhere down here, so I'm in the money on it. But that's why I make these charts every day. That's why I look at this, because, and hopefully I'm saving you time, because this is like the 400th time I've looked at this. It's just the first time today, right? And so I just keep looking at these charts, and just sometimes I just stare at them to get a feel for them, and then I go to different time places, and I look. We had a huge move up here, and it came back, and that's when I got interested in it. And so I think I got in somewhere around here. So again, there's not always a perfect place to get in, but these sideways trading ranges, and particularly ones with higher bottoms and higher tops, that's a nice, and it works really well over on Litecoin. That's a nice, particularly for a new person, particularly for someone who doesn't have a whole bunch of math and know all about, all these other tools of moving averages and rising averages and Fibonacci's and Grokatoodles and all the things that the fancy technical traders throw around as if they know what they're talking about, because ultimately at the end of the day, nobody knows what it's going to do. Right? But the patterns don't lie. Here's the deal. Individuals are not predictable, but groups are. Think about that. Groups are predictable. And we also want to always have a little contrarian edge here. We don't want to necessarily do what the group's doing, but we want to be able to surf what the group is doing. For example, and Earl Nightingale famously said, if you don't know what to do, look at the crowd, see what they're doing, and do the opposite. But here's the deal. Let's say there's a big crowd, and what are they doing? They're standing and watching a parade, right? What does the contrarian do? He sells them balloons. Do you know what I mean? He sells them pinwheels. He sells them hot dogs. He sells them whatever the crowd wants, right? But he's not the crowd. but he's surfing the crowd. That's what we want to be. We want to be the hot dog vendor at the parade. We want to be the one who's at the parade to make money and to do it ethically and to do it consistently and sustainably. That's the whole deal. All right. So anyway, people, I'm not that good at the charts, at working them. I'm pretty good at reading them so far. Litecoin, I don't know. I'm thinking of taking some Litecoin profits and putting them into quantum. I'm kind of liking the sideways trading range of quantum and the steadiness of it. EOS, I've already taken some profits and put into EOS, and I'm doing well from that move. So I don't think I'm going to put more into EOS. So that's what I'm thinking about. And I don't know what you guys are thinking about, but leave a comment below if you like this. Please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please come back every day. And because I think this is not interesting to someone who isn't actually trading. But if you want to trade, if you want to get into the Bitcoin space, if you want to do it successfully, you got to be willing to train. You got to be willing to apprentice yourself to somebody. And don't just apprentice yourself to me. Check out DataDash. Check out Crypto Investor. And if you want technical stuff to be explained, Ivan on Tech is really good. If you want to keep up on news, Box Mining is an excellent news source. A little bit young, but pretty tuned in. So I have a list of some resources below this. And if you like this chart, it's Coinigy, and there's a link there. And if you get into a Coinigy account, they pay me $15. And that would be nice. I wouldn't mind making a little extra money, because I will take it and I will put it into something in the cryptos, and we'll see if we can make that grow too. All right, so thanks so much. That's it for today, and let's go back to Mama Papa Bitcoin here. And I think we are going to see 15. We might see 20. I don't know how soon, but I also think we're going to see a correction somewhere along the way. However, it's been a long time since we've had a huge correction. The last big correction was back in September. And that was, I believe, the Chinese ICO and then the Jamie Dimon FUD. And we're going to look back and see that that was no big deal. And whose best interest is it for Bitcoin to crash? In whose interest is it? We don't know. Whose interest is it for it to rise? And everybody investing in it wants it to rise. So right now there are more buyers than there are sellers. That's a simple formula. And it might be, I read an article yesterday that basically said that Bitcoin is at the same place email was. And it's not just a currency, it's also a technology. So when something goes exponential and hits a tipping point, sometimes it's not a bubble. And this may be a bubble at some point. Everybody throws around the word bubble. But the reality is, no one calls the internet a bubble. No one calls email a bubble. No one calls cell phones a bubble. But there was a point where some people first got it, and then some more people got it, and then all of a sudden everybody got it, right? We're at the point where all of a sudden everybody's going to get it. And it's going to take probably 2 years, but word of mouth, it's no accident, particularly in the U.S., that right after Thanksgiving, right after all the families got together and tried to make conversation, awkward conversation in the living room. So, what's new? How are the kids? Oh, fine, whatever. Oh, Janie's in college. What are you doing? Oh, yeah, I went to the doctor. Oh, had me a colonoscopy. What else are you going to talk about? Have you heard of this thing called Bitcoin? Boom, all of a sudden the conversation gets interesting. No, Bitcoin, what's that? And then the explanation, it's digital money. It's digital gold. It's a way to screw the government, right? Whatever people talk about, boom. And the conversations happen, and then Monday, people start opening up Coinbase accounts. And if you haven't opened up a Coinbase account, you might want to start getting that process going. Because you got to get in somewhere, and that's one of the few easy-to-use gateways for new people. However, just remember, it's all in the U.S. banking system, so be prepared that you're going to have to declare this shit on your taxes if you take profits back into fiat, right? So keep it safe, people. Be intelligent. Don't just listen to me or watch me. Look around, educate yourself, and check in every morning on the Morning Cryptos. And if you like this, you might like my Better Man project. And if you like those, or you just like me, or you like good music, you might want to check out my music as well. And there are all links below the video. That's it for now. Peace, grooviness, over and out. And this has been exciting, thrill. Well, I always want to say thrills, spills, and action-packed episode. The exciting thrills, spills, and action-packed episode number 122 of my 90-day challenge. To go deep into the Bitcoin rabbit hole and to find out what's going on and to see if I can prosper myself and help you to prosper yourself. That's it. Done. Start the music now. Have a great day.